What's going on, guys? Today we are going to talk about the Tacoma, but everybody's talking about the new Toyota Tacoma. Everybody in the creator space is talking tacos, but they're not talking about one particular thing that we're going to talk about, and I think everybody's missed this but us, right, Jay?
Absolutely, 100%.
So let's get into some new Tacoma talk, but let's also take you into some things that Toyota's doing here that nobody else is talking about, we think you should know about. Here we go.
All right, so here we are. Talking tacos.
Talk. It happens to be Taco Tuesday as we record this, but got the new Toyota Tacoma, kind of the king of the overland truck market, if you will. Lots to say. Let's start with where they chose to unveil this thing. Can we start there?
I think that, since everybody else has been talking about this giant of a vehicle that was revealed, I think we should. So let's talk Hawaii. Let's bring the suntan oil out and let's talk tacos.
So Toyota snuck a bunch of new Tacomas out to the Big Island of Hawaii and gathered with lots of people, least of which were some popular content creators on YouTube and
some of our peers in the industry.
Some of our people.
Yeah.
And we're going to get to more on that in a few minutes, but the backdrop of where they chose to do this kind of makes sense to me because it's a pretty diverse island. You've got a lot of outdoor stuff. You've got rainforests. You've got overlanding capabilities. And it's a nice backdrop for the truck. I'm sure it was expensive to do, but I think they're trying to make a big statement here, right?
Absolutely, they were. I think that Toyota has anybody who has listened to our podcast, by the way, if you want to listen to that, you can go to partskinddaguru.com. And you'll find the podcast links there or watch any of our videos over here on youtube.com/partskinddagurus. Anyway, Keith and I have discussed this about what Toyota has been doing probably the last 5 years hardcore. People might get the feeling that they may have been dragging their feet when in all actuality, they are paying very close attention, and the release of the fourth generation Toyota Tacoma is just a fine example of how they've been paying attention to the market and the market demands, but not only the vehicle itself, it's how do we get that out to our people? How do we get that out to our core people? How do we make a big impact and show the competition that we are here for the long haul?
Told you guys they were not sitting back on their laurels. Told you. We told you this, like a year ago?
Absolutely.
I hate to say I told you so.
So we've got a pretty big handful of categories in this truck. For the laymen in the audience that aren't familiar with the different packages. I think it's 8. You've got the SR, the SR5, the pre-runner, the TRD pre-runner, the TRD Sport, the TRD Off-Road. I mean, it kind of gets confusing. Then you have the Limited, the Trail Hunter, and the TRD Pro.
That's right.
And didn't it always just used to be called the pre-runner? Is this the first?
That's it.
They started slapping TRD in front of it now, right?
They did, and I got to tell you, as anybody, look, you don't have to have us tell you everything about this vehicle, and today that's really not why we're here. If you're here for that, we're going to tell you a lot of the key features, no doubt about it, but you can go to toyota.com and find out anything you want to know, no doubt about it. But what Toyota has done here is they have absolutely, which is a very hard thing to do, very tall order, which is to make everyone happy in that particular market, and they have done it with these 8 trims. Wouldn't you say that?
Yeah, so that's the trick, right? Is how do we capture the most of the market without having to have 75 different versions of a truck, which is cost prohibitive, right?
That's correct.
And so they tried to dial it in as much as they can to check as many boxes for as many people as they could, and I think they did a very, very good job. I mean, you've got stuff here from all the way from I just need a basic work truck and I like the durability of a Toyota to I want to take this thing in desert races to I want to just full on trick this thing out for overlanding, roof racks, crazy, insane, like suspension. I mean, they've literally tried to make one for everyone. The biggest problem I would have if I were looking at one of these is, do I want to go more for like the TRD Pro or the Trail Hunter? Because there's some pretty distinct differences between the two.
There definitely are, and that's something that you as a consumer really need to understand what you're trying to go for here. So if you are wanting an overlanding purpose-built vehicle right out of the chute without really having to do anything to it, you're going to want to go for that Trail Hunter. That's the one that is the cream of the crop when it comes to overlanding. However, you can go to the TRD Pro with the accessories that they have set up that are available for these things. You can turn a TRD Pro into one. So you may not want to go to the extreme level. Maybe you just want a couple of extra things to get a little further out and not have all of the other features that the Trail Hunter has, I should say. I think I said Trail Runner, but Trail Hunter is what it actually is. And guys, I got to tell you, when you look in the interior of this thing, you know exactly what they were listening to, and that was us out here going, hey man, I sure do wish that the cab was a little taller. I sure do wish that my legs wouldn't stick straight out in front of me when I'm driving this thing. Can my knees be... Take a look at this thing, and you're gonna realize that Toyota has been back listening. Now, Keith said, how are they able to offer so many packages? And Toyota has been working off of their Toyota New Global architecture, which is it's a modular frame, which they use that same architecture for the Tundra as well as the Sequoia. So it's part of the family now, and that gives Toyota so much versatility with one architecture, right? And it allows them to expand on that without having to sink a ton of manufacturing dollars into it, because tooling and setup and all those things are money. Production is money. You need to be able to produce effectively the number of units that you want based on demand. And you can do all of these things in one plant.
I think I would vote for you as CEO of the next automotive company. You could give that very speech to, a room full of your peers, and I think you...
I don't know, man, but it's key to success when you're looking at this thing. And they looked at the bigger picture, and it was, we can do more for a lot more people if we concentrate on how we get this vehicle out there. The fourth generation Toyota Tacoma, in my opinion, is probably the most impressive delivery on what they said they were going to do of any of the generations that I have seen yet.
So let's talk just a couple high-level specs here.
Okay.
And again, guys, we've gotten into these before. We will get into these in way more detail, long form, if you will, on our podcast. Jay had mentioned that earlier. You can find that at partscounterguru.com. It's two different engines that they're initially pitching here. And you do have, and I know this from the pictures that we talked about on the podcast, a manual transmission option.
Absolutely.
So you manual trans fans, good news. This right out of the gate, you can order it that way. There will be one show up on the lot that have it. The two different engines, there's the iForce 2.4 liter. It's turbocharged. It'll make like 270 horsepower, I think.
278, yeah.
Okay.
And 370 pound-feet of torque as well, by the way, for that model, or for that engine. Yeah.
And they use that in several of these packages, several of these models, and then you get up into the bigger engine, which is their... I'm laughing because they call it their iForce Max, and I feel like I'm about to buy an Apple product here. So
yes,
let's see.
Yes.
We have
Marketing.
the iForce Max. Now, where it gets complicated is when you have the iForce Max on a TRD Pro.
Right.
Light, Air, Extreme.
Yes. Wow. My goodness, right? Max, yeah. Pro, Extreme, yes.
So,
oh, man. We are getting there. This is marketing, guys, and we're going to touch on this a little bit more, so hang in there, okay? But the iForce Max is a hybrid version. It comes with an electric motor. It's an electric assist. Now, there is another brand out there which is the 4xe, which is something that Jeep did, and Toyota paid attention to that. And Toyota, if everyone recalls, they are like a leader in hybrid applications out there. I think they have
balls on these guys, man. Putting
Right.
an electric assist in their flagship Overland vehicle.
Huh,
How
well,
dare they, right?
yeah.
But you have options. You don't have to buy that one. Right?
No, you don't have to. You don't have to. But I'm telling you, if you're an off-roader, you might consider going there because it will help you from time to time.
Yeah.
Trust me when I say that. So you have that available to it. But not only, look, from a marketing standpoint, so as you guys know, Keith and I attend the SEMA show every year. Last year, we noticed the exponential growth of the overlanding segment of the SEMA show, which is just absolutely amazing. Please do yourself a favor. Go catch that show if you can. It's an invite only. Trust me, it's hard to get in. But if you miss it, you can stay in tune with us.
Or you can just follow us, and we'll give you the relevant info.
Right, but they introduced that Trail Hunter package last year, and
on the Tundra.
On the Tundra. Now, here's what was happening is Keith and I were covering the Toyota press conference that was going on, and they were talking about all of their performance vehicles, and we were like, oh, you got all this off-road stuff over here. Let's get to that. I think that was I understand what Toyota's doing because there's a huge GR crowd. That the Japanese side of Toyota's offering is mind-blowing, which we don't have access to some of that stuff here in the U.S., and I can't wait until some of that will make it over. But then they shifted from that directly over to the overlanding side, and that's when they had the retro taco. Tacozilla.
Yep.
That was really cool, and you can check that video out on YouTube. We have a walk around that, and then Keith and I walked around, and we gave you some in-depth coverage on the trailer as well as the Trail Hunter Tundra, and we just knew. Keith and I said to each other at that time, "Gosh, man, would this not just be awesome on a Tacoma?" And we had heard rumors that this could happen. And we've seen the leaks, and then obviously over the last several months with the leaks and the silhouettes of each model, we knew that we were in for something pretty special, and we got it. It's exactly what we got. I think Toyota's hit this thing out of the park.
Yeah, so marketing, just a couple quick things, and then Jay, get whatever specs you want to cover ready.
Okay. Yep.
But also in the sort of marketing kind of thing, there you can get what they call an extra cab, which is really just their 2-door, and then they have the double cab, and the the double cab is their 4-door, but then you have variations of that where you can get a 5-foot bed or a 6-foot bed depending on the package.
Which now we released something a little, a week or so ago or a couple weeks ago, and you want to check that out. It's about. It's on our podcast that you can listen to. We talked about Ford jumped the gun and released their new Ranger Raptor and a few other variations of that. But Ford completely cut out the long bed. They said to heck with it. We're just going short bed all the way here. And so Toyota's like, and on that particular episode, I was saying Ford's saying hold my beer. Well, no, it ain't that. Toyota is saying give me my beer back. And they took control of it. They gave you everything you wanted. Long bed, short bed, 2-wheel drive. A 2-wheel drive Taco SR5 pre-runner available for you guys out there that just need a pickup truck. If you just need a pickup truck.
I do flooring or painting or handyman work, and, I like the Toyota brand. And, yeah, there you go, right?
Can I say this real quick to Ford? Hey, Ford. They got you, bro. They got you on this one. Oof.
You're starting fights, man. You got to be.
It's truth. It's truth, man. I can't help but spread the truth.
Okay, so we saw how Ford did the marketing on the Ranger Raptor just recently.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the problems that I have with kind of how these companies are doing marketing lately, and this is, by the way, everybody, this is the part of the segment that we promised you at the beginning. This is what Toyota is doing that no one else is doing right now. Number one, they actually delivered on this product just a few weeks after they made the announcement. Not even then, okay? They had already, by the time they made the announcement, I'm pretty sure, filmed a lot of this content that got released on release day in Hawaii.
Yeah.
And they were also at an Overland Expo like a week after they made the announcement, Jay?
Well, actually, it was the weekend of the announcement in Flagstaff, Arizona, for the Overland Expo West. They have Mountain West, and other variations of that all over the country. So make sure you go check those guys out. But yeah, they had it available to the public to put their hands on. And if you're, in the media, which we guys, us content creators, we love this stuff because we want to touchy-feely this and give you guys, our audience, a firsthand look at this, because we know that, Keith and I have been doing this for a long time. We wouldn't be doing what we were doing if we didn't feel like we were filling the need for something like what we do, which is give you a first look at this stuff and an opinion on what it is, features, benefits, whether or not it's going to be a flop. Is it cost effective? Did they do something wrong here? Did they do something wrong there? That's what we're here for, and we know that you guys, as consumers, as our audience, you love that because you're going to have varying opinions depending on who you listen to. But I think with the Toyota Tacoma, they were confident enough in what product that they had here that they were willing to do a completely different thing than anybody else has ever done here.
And they did it different on the marketing side as well. Now, Ford has done great marketing in the past, but I think we might be having a little pew-pew war going on here with the marketing team. So on the list of things that no one else is talking about that Toyota did for this release, and as far as I know, these are first. Number one, they did a quick from announcement to product availability release, meaning these companies that are going, hey, everybody, you can buy a Cybertruck. Oh, we don't know when. 5 years pass, still not available. And Tesla's not the only one that's guilty of this. Ford announced the F-150 Lightning.
Fisker is too. Yeah.
A long time went by before it became available. GM's doing the same thing with the Hummer. Right.
Lyric.
So number one, you have to capitalize on the momentum. If you make that announcement, people move on. Short attention span, they're done. So Toyota jumped right on top of it. They kept it a secret until it was time. And number two, they flew out a bunch of content creators to Hawaii, snuck a bunch of these tacos out, presumably on ships, probably in shipping containers, to the island, and did a whole bunch of video shoots out there with people. And it's great. It's a remote location. It's, but this might be the most significant use of content creators in the automotive marketing industry that I have ever seen in the entire history of the known universe.
And I will tell you why that is. Keith and I, we know what goes into video production. We also know that videos, when they are put out, if you've sunk a ton of money into it and it doesn't do anything for you, that's a loss. What do? You get smart. You bring in people that do this professionally. You bring in content creators to give the audience what they want to hear. Why do they let the content creators do this? Because they know what their audience wants.
Yes, and so you had GM that stuck their foot in the pool just carefully when they did the Cadillac Lyric release, and they brought in a couple. They brought in iJustine, and I'm trying to think of the guy's name from Unbox Therapy. And
I don't know that guy.
And they did the MC work, if you will. Mm-hmm. But Toyota took it to another level because they let content creators go out and shoot their own videos in addition to Toyota shooting theirs with this truck. And then a lot of them got it released the day of the announcement.
Absolutely.
In a couple cases, it was the evening before we saw videos hit YouTube.
Yep.
That is huge. That is absolutely where we are headed. No longer is it just the automotive company's marketing team putting product out.
Right. And so guy from Toyota marketing calls his other guy from Toyota marketing and says, hey, man, are there any overlanding events going on that we need to know about that we might want to put one of these out there for these folks to know? Oh, yeah, sure. It's the Overland Expo in Flagstaff, Arizona going on. Oh, guess what? Why don't we release that vehicle the same time that happens and bring all these content creators in? Man, this is a no-brainer. Hey, what's our budget this year? Oh, okay, all right. Yeah, call the content creators. We'll let these guys handle the budget. No-brainer.
Right. Now, you might have a little problem getting in the door if they're requiring you to be legitimate media and you have to be published in magazines and newspapers. It's kind of a point of frustration that Jay and I have. But yes, this is absolute validation of the impact that creators have on product sales, in this case, in the automotive industry.
Absolutely.
Holy cow.
Absolutely. I mean, you guys who've been friends of ours and subscribed to us for some time now know that we have brand partners. And basically, Toyota has partnered up with these guys for this particular moment in time. And who knows where to go from there, because there's some really good content creators out there in the automotive space in which we are honored and privileged to be a part of, and happy for those guys, and glad that they were selected or however that worked. And we're going to get to the bottom of that and try to figure out how that happened. But I'm sure that they were selected and offered the opportunity to go, and good for anybody who took them up on that offer to make that happen, because very well done, guys, I must say, too. Wouldn't you?
I would.
Really good reviews out there on it so
yes.
far.
And so speaking of reviews, Jay, I have a question for you before we wrap here.
Okay.
So you made a comment to me earlier. You said, man, this thing is it's just built so well. You were impressed by the specs that you were seeing, okay?
Yeah, I mean, there's
what are some things that you went, wow, that made you go, wow?
Well, first and foremost, when they are teaming up with ARB and Old Man, when you're having those types of high end, if you will, suspension. When I say high end, I don't know if I would say high end. I mean, yes, they're high end, of course.
They're collaborations, man.
They're collaborations here, and they're using their technology, which is proven. Goes back to what I always said, and our good friend Chuck Lynch always said over at AERA, pay attention to the performance world, because those performance components, those ideas will end up on a vehicle. So basically what Toyota has done here is they've gone out to ARB and Fox and these guys and said, hey, we need to partner with you, specifically for us to make this thing a beast.
Our customers are already putting your products on our stuff, and so they're both our customers, because let's face it, they all end up, a lot of our trucks end up with your stuff on them. Right. Why don't we just go ahead and organically make this happen? Exactly.
So a couple other key points that I picked up on, and again, ARB, Old Man Emu, Rigid. It's also set up for factory snorkel. Some come with it, which is ideal. Electronic sway bar disconnect. Hey, Jeep, have you gotten that figured out yet? Which you guys, make
sure you like and subscribe, everybody.
Right. Which by the way, Ford did right on the Bronco. The full size Bronco is set up right. So again, Toyota's back paying attention to what their competition is doing. But you still have the multi-terrain select system on there. You've got now a push button start, so you never have to carry keys around. You've got more recovery points on this, whereas before, like when they came out with the Tundra, they didn't have the recovery points or the hooks that you need. You need to be able to get in there and grab this thing and get this thing out of trouble, recover it out of whatever ravine it might be in, right? They now have four-wheel disc brakes on every single one. Now, I don't know how much of an advantage people are going to feel from the four-wheel disc brakes on this thing, because rear drum is not, in my opinion, a lost technology, depending on specific applications.
Depends on the use case, yeah.
Exactly. A couple of other things that they did is they moved the rear axle back just about 3-4 inches. So you've got a longer wheelbase on the body itself, so it did increase the departure. It changed the departure and interest angles for the better, but you've got a little bit like a 30-degree less opportunity with the breakover. So that might be a little bit of an issue at some point. I don't know, depending on the lift and all the other kind of things that you might have there, what it might catch on. I don't know yet. We're going to find that out, I'm sure, in the future. But there was a lot of just different things like that they were paying attention to. Headroom, for example, in the cab. Like I said, the cab is a little bit taller. The seats sit up a little bit higher. The in-cab experience is a lot more comfortable. They've got an assist seat it's a dampered type seat that will move to your body weight and keep your ride more comfortable as you're driving around this rough terrain, and you can disengage that if you don't want to use it. They've got stowage compartments in the floor in the back end of this thing now. There's all kinds of charge points on this thing, plug in this, plug in that, whatever. You've got the new JBL system, the speaker that comes out of the dash, just like the Rivian.
Yeah, it's a portable speaker you can take to your campsite. And but not least, Jay, last but not least.
What?
There is an option for a front-facing camera. And if you don't know why that's important, go check out our video where we took the previous generation Tacoma and installed a front-facing anytime camera because, well, you know what? Watch the video and you'll find out why. It's really important.
TRD Pro.
They're offering that, yeah.
Right. The TRD Pro Off-Road as well as the Trail Hunter have the 360-degree cam. They've got towing packages. They've got the rear view camera, like we were saying, with the depending on the trailer,
right?
That will help you hook the trailer up. They've guys, we'll leave the link to Toyota in the description down here for you guys to go check it out. And I am so excited for Toyota. I think that this is probably going to save their ass in a lot of ways. I think they're going to win this battle of the Overlanders. Ask our friends at TAV LLC, which is Tactical Vehicles. They love the Tundras and the Tacomas, and I bet their mouths are watering right now to get one out there, and we'll keep you posted on that if they do. I'm sure they'll be at SEMA in November, so stay attention to us, and we'll take you there.
Yeah, and on that note, everybody, we've got all kinds of great content. Not all of it is automotive-centric, but that is kind of our core. We also do a lot of overlanding stuff. Make sure you check out our website at partscounterguru.com. Hit the subscribe button over on the YouTube channel or on our socials at Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And you can find more content like this and way more. So thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you on the next one.